Hey everyone, Mikey here again with another video on my consolized Vewlix F cabinet. I've made a few upgrades since the first video that I created, and one in particular is I have changed out one of my PCBs, and I'm currently now using a Brook Wireless Fighting Board. I've seen a few questions being asked about this board, and one in particular is, can this board turn on consoles by a push of a button? So let's say I have a PS4 controller, I push the PS button, and it turns on my PS4. Same thing with the Switch, with the home button. I'm gonna answer right away, yes and no. There are a few things that you need to do in order to get it to work. It totally works in my system, but there are some caveats with it, and I'll get more in depth about it. But I think for this whole video, I want to talk about just really focusing on that PCB, how to hook it up, and how to start up a console with it, and then maybe some of the pain points as well with it. But yeah, so I guess without further ado, let's go through the cabinet first. All right, so we've got everything closed up here. First thing I want to talk about in my setup right now is, you see I still have a Joy-Con sitting out here. The reason why I have a Joy-Con sitting out here is because the Brook Wireless board will not turn on the Switch by a push of a button. It's unfortunate. I've done the firmware update, still no bueno, so it doesn't work. So I do have to still have this guy sitting out here. What else here? From my first video, I talk about the KVM switch. And then also I ended up upgrading my keyboard. I used to have a keyboard and mouse like separated. Now I've got this all-in-one little mini guy. I mean, it's literally like the size of a control, like a TV remote, and there's a touchpad right here. So I'm able to like navigate using this with on the PC or the Raspberry Pi. And then also I ended up getting rid of the share button as well too. I don't need player 2 to like take any screenshots or anything. So I got a USB 3.0 in here. It's hooked up to the KVM switch, so you could charge things with it, and also hook up like an external keyboard or mouse or whatever to both PC and Raspberry Pi. All right, so first off, again, we don't ever want to open any of this stuff here. We don't want to go into the consoles. We're just trying to make this as streamlined as possible. Also, I usually have to open this up to turn on the Vewlix. I'm not doing that anymore. Now I just have it on, and I have a switch that's sitting behind here. So let me turn this on, and here we go. Vewlix is on, and yeah, let's move this KVM to PS4 because I want to demonstrate turning on the PS4 by a push of a button. So yeah, let me see here. Let's just do that real quick, and we should be able to hear it, and then you should be able to see a light turn on too, and we'll go more in depth about that. But I mounted a LED right here, so I have an LED that's hooked up to the Brook Wireless board. So I'm gonna hit the home button right now, and you see that? Did you hear the beep? It actually turned on the PS4, and now this is letting me know that it's paired to the PS4. So yeah, there you go. There's the PS logo. There's the home screen. So yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate just being able to do this from out here. And again, just like my first video, like the UFB Ultimate Fight Board, you're able to switch through consoles, and I have this whole demonstration on how to do that by putting the Brook board. It's the exact same thing. You have to put it in specific console modes. But yeah, just turning it on and off, the USB signal and power, and then holding down a button config. So yeah, I could switch in between my PS4, my Switch, my Raspberry Pi, and my PC. But yeah, I think the one easiest way for me to show you all how to hook everything up is I'm going to demonstrate that through a fight stick that I created. I have the wireless board in here as well. I think it'll be way easier to go under the hood and see how everything's hooked up, and then how we can pair it to consoles and get it to work where we can turn things on by a push of a button. So yeah, let's go into the controller now. Alrighty, so we have the Vewlix opened up. We've got the fight stick disassembled. I think we will start first off with the outside of this. So of course, PS4 is shut off. We've got a USB cable that's hooked up, and that is going to be hooked up to this piece that actually comes with the Brook Wireless board. This is a USB in, and also there is a headphone jack. You're not going to want to hook this into directly onto the PCB. You want to hook it into here. And the reason for that is if you hook this up directly to the PCB, every single time you turn on the Brook, your PS4, the Brook board will think it's in headphone mode. And then you'll have to go to settings and then audio, and then you'll have to disable headphones every single time. So every single time you turn on your PS4. So it's a real pain. So this is going to be your bypass. So you will always want to hook into this. This is your buddy. The other thing is do not plug in a powered USB going into this and one going into the PCB at the same time. I have fried a board doing that. You do not want to have it going into power from two sources. Just don't plug into the PCB. Just always plug into this thing. So keep that in mind. Also, here's your other buddy here. This is going to be your Bluetooth antenna. This is hooked up to the PCB. It also comes with the Brook Wireless PCB. This thing, I've tried to not use it and not have it hooked up, and I've had the PCB literally next to a console and it still won't turn on. So you are going to need to hook this up. So let me think about this. Yeah, I think that's it here. So let's take off this Freak Mod joystick and let's go into the fight stick. So yeah, first off, let's go from that USB again, and that's going to go into this attachment. This is going into two separate headers. One is probably for audio and USB, and the other one is for maybe for power, or maybe, yeah, I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what these are for. So also we have this is the thing that's attached to the Bluetooth antenna. So you need to hook this up for sure. And then I actually have this set in a assembly by Buttercade. You don't have to buy this, but this is how it's mounted onto my fight stick. But if you notice here, there is these two wires that are coming out of here. So I drilled a hole in here, and this is an LED. So that LED is actually going to this header here on the left. So the thing about the Brook board is there is not an LED light to let you know that it's on. That's actually on the PCB. I know the Ultimate Fight board has it, and I think the PS4 audio one has it as well. So it will like light up. The PCB will light up blue out of this LED that's actually on the board. This one doesn't have it, so there's no real way to let you know if this thing is on or not. This is also a really good indicator to let you know your battery is charging, and also if it's in pairing mode. So I do highly recommend hooking up some sort of means for you to be able to see that this thing is working, or pairing, for that matter. Okay, so I think the next thing is I have this jumper that is unhooked right now, and what is on the other side of that jumper, that is, if you look really close, that little gray thing under this assembly, that is a battery. This is going to be the same battery that is used in the PS4 and the PS3 controllers. You could find those on Focus Attack or Arcade Shock, or sometimes the Big A website. So this hooks up to this header here. I have it unhooked for a reason, and I'll show you real quick. Yeah, I think that's it for this part. So battery's unhooked, and first off, we're gonna try to start it. So my home button's right here. So if I hit this button, nothing's happening, and I'm gonna tell you why nothing's happening. Nothing's happening because the PS4 is completely shut off. So there is no power coming out of this USB cable whatsoever. So in order for the Brook board to work, you need power. You have to have some sort of means of power for it to be able to go into Bluetooth pairing. right? So there's no way it just doesn't have its own power. So hence why there's a battery here. Now, you don't have to necessarily have the battery. I don't have the battery hooked up on my setup because I have a powered USB that comes out of my KVM switch. So that actually sends power through this. But again, because this has no power coming through it, coming from the PS4, it's not going to turn it on. So yeah, let me plug this in real quick and then I'll be right back. All right, so we have the battery hooked up. I think we're ready. So let's flip this back over. Yeah, let's put the joystick back on, and then I should be able to hit this home button and we'll see what happens. Oh, did you see that light turn on? All right, look at that. We got the blue Cylon light that just it's breathing, it's alive. Okay, so yeah, that is how you turn the PS4 on from a button. This is how you hook everything up. I guess the one major takeaway from this is you definitely need to have some sort of power source. You definitely need to hook up the audio as well, and then you need to hook up the Bluetooth antenna. So power could be a battery or a powered KVM switch. I haven't tried this yet, but maybe you could just like hardwire into this as well too. But yeah, so I think the next thing I'm gonna do is let's go through every single console. Let's just make sure that this works with everything that I have in my setup. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back again. I just turned on the Vewlix. I shut it down. I just turned it on, so all the consoles are shut off right now. But yeah, so let's go through each. I think I'm just going to go through each console and just show you what you need to do in order to get that to work. I do have a previous video that shows how to put the Brook board in the console mode. You're definitely going to have to do this for PC and for Raspberry Pi as well. The Brook UFB board that I show in the first video, those automatically go into PC and Raspberry Pi mode, but not for the Brook Wireless board. You do have to do a little bit of some tweaking as well in order to get it to work with the Raspberry Pi, which I'll leave a link in the description as well. There's a video that I found where you're able to pair it, or you get it to work with it recognizes in a Raspberry Pi. So okay, so first off, let's go PS4, and let me just hit the home button here. As you can see, and here there was a beep. This red light's on to let me know that the PS4 should be turning on right now. So let's do that. I'm gonna let this load. All right, cool. So controller's totally working. I can totally shut this off. Okay, so now let's switch to the switch. So I'm gonna hit the KVM switch. I'm gonna switch over to switch now. And in order for this to work, what I need to do is I need to turn off the Brook board. I have this toggle, and again, in the first video that I made, I go super in depth about how this works. So I'm turning off the Brook Wireless board right now, and of course I have to pair it. So I'm gonna hit the home button here, and then we'll see it pairing. There we go. And then first thing I need to do is I actually need to put it in switch mode. So you just hold down one kick and then turn on the Brook board, and then you'll see this red light start. And now actually, let me turn this off again. So if I have this off, you'll see that the light is not on over here. The moment I do turn it on and I put it in whatever mode it needs to be in, so switch mode here, you'll see it start dimming. And then from here, if I hit the home button, you'll see it blink. And then once it's done blinking and it's a solid color, then it lets me know that I am actually paired to this. So now we could play Pocky and Rocky or whatever. So yeah, so that is for the Switch. And again, bummer, I have to still have the Joy-Con up here in order for that to work. You can't start it with the button. Okay, so let's turn off the Brook board again, and let's go to PC. So let's do this. which this is going to be my Mac. So it's asleep right now, and all I have to do is just hit my little keyboard here, and it should wake it up. Let's see if it's actually... Yep, I just heard it. There we go. So yeah, I've got Windows running right now. So in order for this to work with with PC, I actually have to put it in PC mode. So I have the Brook board turned off again. If I hold 2 kick and turn it on, you just heard the USB just plug in, and then you see the red light is on right here. And then, you know, now I got this little trackpad. Let's turn on coin ops real quick. Okay, don't mind this. I don't have a paid version of Windows, so I'm gonna have to update that eventually, but as you can see, this totally works. So if I didn't put this in PC mode, this joystick is just not gonna work. So yeah, and then finally, let's turn this off again, and then let's go to the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so I'm gonna hold down, Raspberry Pi is, I think you gotta put it in, it's actually PS3 mode. So if you hold down 1 punch and turn the Brook board on, I just saw it blink, and now the red light is on again, and I should just be able to, there we go, we're in. Now I can play whatever. So yeah, this is just showing you that I was able to turn on the Vewlix, and I didn't have to open anything. Other than the Joy-Con turning this on, everything else is totally working fine. Totally works with the Brook board. So I think finally I'm just gonna open this up, and then I'll show you how I do have this hooked up on the inside, and yeah. Okay, so we are nice and brightly lit over here. So yeah, the PCB, again, I've got the Bluetooth antenna. That's actually just dangling through here. You can kind of see it just like moving there. So I've got that hooked up, and then again, this is the headphone USB piece that comes with the PCB. I have my KVM USB hooked directly into here and not into the PCB. And then other than that, you're just gonna hook up all your other standard buttons. Yeah, so that's how I have this hooked up. And I'm only using 1 player for this. I'm keeping the Brook USB on this end because I don't need 2 wireless. This is just in charge of just turning everything on. The other bummer downfall about this that this has an advantage over is this one will, you can play PS5 through here. This one, you could play PS4 games on a PS5. So yeah, have fun with that. But yeah, other than that, I don't own a PS5 right now, and if I did, you know, I would just, you know, use this board and just use the second player controller. If I needed 2 players to play, then of course I would just switch out this PCB and just put in the USB and just hook this up, and that's it. So super easy. Yeah, other than that, I guess my other final thought is if you're just looking to use this with a PS4 and that is it only in your setup, then I would definitely get the battery for this. If you are doing something where you're switching through different consoles, then your KVM switch most likely is going to send power to this. And then yeah, if you're trying to just use this with the Switch, unfortunately you're definitely going to have to still have the Joy-Con sticking out. So but yeah, hopefully this was informative, and if you have any questions, of course, just leave it in the comments, and yeah, have fun, y'all.